What's up, Diskarte fam? Welcome back to another episode. So yes, tama ang nabasa nyo on the title. I built multiple sources of income by downloading apps on the phone, filling up surveys, and buying into NFTs. Because, you know, everyone says you can make a lot of money there. Just kidding, no, I didn't do any of those. What happened was that I got an email from a Nigerian prince telling me that they would send me just 72 hours of work and they would pay me a lot, as in 1 billion a lot. Okay, that wasn't real as well. I did work 72 hours a week, maybe even more, for 1 year, just to see how much of an impact there is if I work more hours. And also, I wanted multiple sources of income and quote-unquote financial freedom. Quick disclaimer though, I am in no way asking you to go out there and work 80 hours and get burnt out and get stressed, because hey, everyone has their own pace, has their own time, and success is relative to how you view being successful. But for me, this is how the way I thought I was going to get successful. So you do you, my friend. And I think for the most part, the real question is, was working 12 hours a day worth it? Halos dinoble ko yung working hours ko because I wanted financial freedom. In my head, that was the only way for me to be able to build multiple sources of income. So basically, this is what happened. Back in late 2020, at the peak of the pandemic, I got a message from my boss. And so we hopped on a video conference, and out of nowhere, I was told the bad news that my position was apparently being deemed redundant. In layman's terms, it wasn't needed anymore. It's basically just another way of saying you're fired. So yeah, I got fired. I'd given this company almost all my time and effort over the past 4 years. So naturally, I was pretty devastated. Although after a complete breakdown of my physiological being, I realized something. I'm out. I'm free. I've been wanting to resign for so long, but I couldn't because of the uncertainty. Well, you know, pretty uncertain now, but at least I don't have a choice this time. I don't come from a position of privilege. I could not resign for the past 11 years because I needed a job, but I'd already been building things on the side before that. But a majority of them failed.
Failure! Failure! You're still a failure!
Failure!
And so, if you watch my other videos, you'd know that I already tried a lot. And I'd also failed a lot. Sad face. But yeah, I was scared. I mean, who wouldn't be scared? I failed a lot of times. In my head, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me to either do it and win or do it and fail. But you know what, guys? Sometimes in life, you just gotta go all in. And so I decided to get down to business. This was my prime time, game time, my underdog moment, my pursuit of happiness moment, my,
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
I wrote down all the business ideas that I had before, all the actual business ideas that I attempted, and tried to figure out which ones I could bring back and maybe which ones I could transform into a different business. And out of that beautiful planning, I decided on a couple of businesses. There were 2 businesses that I started before the pandemic, which was Go Shots and 3D printing. And then I found myself becoming a subcontractor for a condominium that was being built. I even tried aquaponics and hydroponics because my father was also interested in them. And then I bought a couple of coffee vending machines for passive income. I'd saved enough for a down payment and a couple of months to pay for a van, which I thought was a genius idea because a lot of people at the time needed couriers or transport services. I also got into cryptocurrencies late 2019, so I wanted to double down and learn more of that. I then saw an uptick in the demand for video editors and graphic designers, so I started building a business around that. And last but not the least, I started my content. And I know at this point you may be thinking to yourself, "Ba't naman sabay-sabay?" Let's just say I took the saying, it's better to aim high and miss than to aim low and hit, to a level that was a little bit manic or crazy.
Here's Johnny!
I wanted the championship belt. But kidding aside, guys, a lot of the things that I just mentioned were passive businesses, and the capital that I used was money that I saved up for the past 10 years, plus the redundancy pay that I got. And also, I had so much time. 72 hours for the week, remember? So I thought to myself, there's no better time to try these out than now. I began all of those stuff building the life of my dreams. But really, at the back of my head, was I gonna fail? Was I gonna win? Would I have to go back to work? Would I have to answer another email from my boss saying that I was just no? But overall, I was seeing a lot of traction on what I did. Good traction on YouTube, actually great traction on YouTube. And my most favorite is that I got editing gigs on Facebook and Upwork. And the way I got the gigs is I would sit in my computer, I would click refresh all the time. Every single second in the people that just posted, I would apply immediately. Honestly, everything was going pretty great at this point for the first couple of months. Great, but stressful. Way stressful than I imagined it to be, but great nevertheless. So, since everything was going great, I decided to up the stakes, to level up, to even put more pressure on myself, because why not? At this point, I was courting a girl, and I knew in myself, in my soul, in my spirit, that I wanted to marry this girl, so I planned to propose to this woman in just a couple of months. So much energy, so much passion, and just when I thought everything was really on its way, getting secured in terms of my multiple sources of income, things weren't going as planned. To put it simply, poop hit the fan. Like a big piece of poop and a pretty big fan. Everything started to fail. Honestly though, losing once, losing twice? Go Shots failed because I was trying to do it alone. The construction business failed because it was just wasn't for me. I didn't research too deep enough to know the business well enough to make money off of it. I actually lost a lot of money. I lost about 500,000 pesos. And then I had to sell my 3D printer because it was just too difficult to use, or maybe the one that I bought was too difficult to use. The van wasn't operating too well. Cryptocurrencies started falling. The only two things that did not fail were you guys, this channel and its subscribers, and the second one is the small digital media services gig that I had on the side. Both of which were generating money. I had a couple of clients for the digital media services, and YouTube was going way better than I expected. But despite making money, it just wasn't enough to support myself and my family. So I had to face the fact that the scenario that I've been dreading all this time is going to play out, and that is, I have to go back to work. No big deal. I felt like I was knocked down a second time, and this time I was down for the count. I overexposed myself in business, I stretched myself too thin, I invested too much all at the same time to the point that I lost about 70% of my savings. I felt lost, defeated, frustrated at myself. I stopped eating normal food. But kidding aside, I literally cried myself to sleep for a couple of days. And when I finally filled up the Las Piñas River to the point that it flooded, which it actually always does. Plus, I rewatched The Longest Yard and a Bruce Lee documentary. I realized something. I told myself that the first underdog moment, what I thought was my pursuit of happiness moment, lies, distractions for the real underdog moment. The moment that will prove that I am a man of discarte. That real moment is now. But guys, no joke, this is the real lesson of the story. In moments like these, you may or may not have people to go to, but what's important and what's clear, in moments like these, you may or may not have people to go to, but what's important and what's clear, taking time is okay. That this might be the lowest point in your life, which is exactly why there is nowhere else to go but up. And that's what I kept on telling myself when I was attempting to recover from all the losses. It took me a while to get back mentally, but when I did, using my newly found confidence experience points, I cast my next move. I quickly went back to the drawing board, I put everything that I had on there, and decided on which ones I would put all of my concentration on, all of my efforts on. And two of those obviously would be the ones that thrived, which was YouTube. And I'm not saying it's because of that, but I did get lucky. I got chosen as one of the finalists for the YouTube and Smart Next Up event last 2021. And then I got another partner for Go Shots who I knew would really bring the business towards our vision. Yung van medyo dumadami na yung biyahe. Check us out on Facebook, We Travel PH. And last but not least, I continued my digital services. I continued getting clients to the point that I have now built an actual creative factory called Oddball Media Philippines. Check us out on Instagram as well. Guys, actually that one is really close to my heart because all my life I've wanted to be a filmmaker, but I couldn't because I had no money for film school, so I had to sell out. And so doing that project, really, that project is building my, just, and all of those combined sometimes make up 40 to 50% of my income. And like I said before I started this long monologue, the lesson is you can have all the time in the world to work 72 hours, 80 hours, some people 100 hours. I don't know how they do that. But if you still rush into things without research, just feeding off of the vibe that you think you can do it, if you don't know how to manage your time, how to manage your mental capacity, there is a big chance that you will fail. And yes, guess what? I still went back to work. So just going back to my question at the beginning, was it worth it? Was it worth working 72 hours a week? You tell me.